A single click echoed through the silent boardroom, and every executive froze. The massive steel vault door that had refused to open for 6 months slowly began to move. The room filled with a metallic groan as decades of secrets, contracts, and the future of a billion-dollar company sat just inches away. The woman who owned the company stood speechless. Just an hour earlier, she had mocked the man standing beside the vault. Now, the fate of her entire business rested in his rough, calloused hands. Before we begin, if you believe in kindness, second chances, and the idea that every person deserves respect regardless of their job or appearance, please take a moment to like this video, leave a comment, share it with someone who needs inspiration, and subscribe to Heartbeat Tales for more powerful stories that touch the heart. The morning sun poured through the glass towers of downtown Chicago, turning the city into a sea of gold. Inside the headquarters of Sterling Global Industries, employees moved quickly through polished hallways, carrying tablets and reports. At the very top floor sat Victoria Sterling, the CEO who had inherited her father's empire and transformed it into one of the largest technology and investment firms in the country. At 42 years old, she was admired for her intelligence and feared for her perfectionism. Every minute mattered to her. Every mistake was unacceptable. Yet beneath the tailored suits and confident speeches was a woman carrying enormous pressure. Her company was facing the worst crisis in its history. Years ago, her father had stored critical ownership documents, patents, contracts, and financial records inside a custom-built vault. The vault protected assets worth nearly $100 million. When her father unexpectedly passed away, the access system malfunctioned. Engineers tried. Security experts tried. International consultants tried. Nobody could open it. Without the documents inside, several major legal disputes remained unresolved. Investors were losing confidence. Competitors sensed weakness. The company was bleeding money. That morning, Victoria received another devastating report. If the vault remained sealed for another month, Sterling Global might lose control of several crucial assets. Desperate, her operations manager suggested something unusual. A local locksmith. Victoria nearly laughed. She had hired experts from around the world, and now someone wanted her to trust a neighborhood locksmith. Still, desperation has a way of opening doors pride keeps closed. An hour later, a man named Owen Mercer arrived at the building. Owen was 38 years old. He wore faded jeans, work boots, and a dark blue work shirt with the logo of his small locksmith business stitched onto the pocket. His hands carried the marks of years spent repairing locks, safes, and security systems. Beside his toolbox sat a small photograph of a smiling little girl. Most people never noticed the photo. To Owen, it was everything. 5 years earlier, his wife had died after a sudden illness. Overnight, he became both father and mother to his daughter, Ava. Every morning before work, he braided her hair, packed her lunch, and walked her to school. Every night he helped with homework before answering emergency service calls. Life had never been easy. But he refused to complain. When Owen entered the executive floor, several employees exchanged doubtful glances. He looked nothing like the expensive consultants who had previously attempted the vault. Victoria noticed him immediately. She studied his worn boots, weathered toolbox, and simple clothing. A faint smile appeared on her face. Not a kind smile. The kind people wear when they've already decided someone isn't good enough. Owen noticed it but said nothing. Years of being underestimated had taught him patience. He simply listened as executives explained the problem. Then he walked toward the vault. The enormous steel door stood behind reinforced concrete walls. Custom mechanisms protected every inch of it. It looked more like a bank vault than something inside a corporate office. Most people stared at the size. Owen stared at the details. His eyes moved slowly across the hinges, locking systems, pressure plates, and hidden access panels. Minutes passed. Then more minutes. The room became silent. Finally, Owen asked for maintenance records dating back 20 years. The executives looked confused. Previous experts had focused on sophisticated technology. Owen wanted old paperwork. Within an hour, boxes of records arrived. For the rest of the afternoon, he studied every page. Victoria grew increasingly impatient. She expected drills, computers, and advanced equipment. Instead, the locksmith read dusty documents. At one point, she openly questioned whether he knew what he was doing. The remark drew quiet laughter from several executives. Owen simply nodded and continued reading. What nobody knew was that Owen had spent his childhood helping his grandfather repair antique vaults and mechanical locking systems. Long before modern digital security existed, craftsmen relied on intricate engineering and hidden fail-safes. Owen understood both old and new technology. As evening approached, he finally discovered something. One maintenance report mentioned an emergency mechanical override hidden during construction. The feature had never been activated. Most people overlooked the note because it appeared insignificant. To Owen, it changed everything. The next morning, he returned before sunrise. While executives drank coffee and discussed contingency plans, Owen crawled beneath panels, examined ventilation shafts, and traced original construction diagrams. Hours passed. Then suddenly he found it. A concealed access point buried behind decorative steel plating. His heart raced. But opening it would not be easy. One wrong move could permanently lock the vault. Or destroy documents inside. For the next 6 hours, Owen worked carefully, adjusting tiny mechanisms by fractions of a millimeter. Sweat soaked his shirt. His hands trembled from exhaustion. Meanwhile, Victoria watched from a distance. Something about his determination unsettled her. She had spent years judging success by titles, wealth, and appearances. Yet this man showed a level of focus and dedication she rarely saw among highly paid executives. Late that afternoon, Owen's phone buzzed. A message from Ava appeared. A simple photo. Her holding a drawing she had made at school. At the bottom she had written, "I love you, Dad." For a moment, Owen smiled. Then he returned to work. The executives noticed. Some quietly began respecting him. Others remained skeptical. Victoria found herself wondering how a man carrying so much responsibility could remain so calm. As sunset painted the city orange, Owen finally stood up. He looked at the vault. Then at the room full of executives. The silence became unbearable. Slowly, he inserted a custom tool into the hidden mechanism. The first click sounded. Then a second. Then a third. The vault shuddered. Every person in the room held their breath. A deep metallic rumble echoed through the chamber. The impossible was happening. The giant door slowly opened. No one moved. No one spoke. For several seconds, the room stood frozen in disbelief. Then cheers erupted. Executives celebrated. Employees hugged each other. Some even cried. Inside the vault sat shelves filled with documents, records, patents, and contracts worth far more than money. They represented the survival of the company itself. Victoria stared at the open door. Her eyes slowly shifted toward Owen. For the first time, she truly saw him. Not as a locksmith. Not as a man in worn clothes. But as the person who had accomplished what every expensive expert had failed to do. Yet the greatest surprise came moments later. While reviewing the contents, legal advisors discovered something hidden among the records. A letter written by Victoria's father shortly before his death. The room became quiet again as she opened it. The letter contained business instructions. But it also contained something deeply personal. Her father wrote about leadership, humility, and respect. He warned that success could create invisible walls between people. He reminded her that character mattered more than status. One line struck her especially hard. It read that the value of a person is never measured by their title, but by the difference they make in the lives of others. Victoria felt tears forming. Because only hours earlier she had done exactly the opposite. She had measured Owen by appearance. And she had been completely wrong. The following week, news of the vault opening spread throughout the city. Reporters covered the story. Industry leaders discussed it. But Owen returned to his normal life. He repaired locks. Answered service calls. Picked Ava up from school. To him, fame meant nothing. His daughter meant everything. Then one afternoon, a black company car stopped outside his small shop. Victoria stepped out. This time there were no executives. No cameras. No audience. Only sincerity. She apologized for how she had treated him. Not because she had to. Because she genuinely meant it. She admitted that she had allowed success to blind her. Owen accepted the apology without bitterness. Life had taught him that carrying resentment only makes burdens heavier. But Victoria had one more surprise. After learning about Owen's struggles as a single father, she created a scholarship fund in Ava's name. The fund would help children who had lost a parent pursue education and opportunities. Owen was speechless. For years he had worked tirelessly just to keep moving forward. Now his story would help countless families facing similar hardships. Months passed. Sterling Global recovered stronger than ever. The documents from the vault saved critical contracts and stabilized the company. Investors returned. Jobs were protected. The business survived. Yet the most important thing Victoria gained was not financial security. It was perspective. She became known as a leader who listened to everyone, from executives to maintenance workers. The lesson from the vault changed her forever. And Owen continued teaching his daughter the values that had guided him through life's hardest moments. That kindness matters. That dignity belongs to everyone. That true strength often wears ordinary clothes. If this story has touched your heart so far, please take a moment to like the video, share it with friends and family, and subscribe to Heartbeat Tales. Stories like these remind us that one act of respect can change a life forever. Special request: comment below with the words, "Character matters," if you believe people should be judged by their actions, not their appearance. Years later, when Ava graduated from college, she stood on a stage surrounded by applause. Part of her education had been funded by the scholarship that carried her name. In the audience sat Owen, tears shining in his eyes. Beside him sat Victoria, smiling proudly. Two people from completely different worlds. Connected forever by a vault, a second chance, and a lesson neither would ever forget. Because sometimes the person everyone overlooks is the very person capable of saving everything. And sometimes the greatest treasures hidden behind steel doors are not documents, contracts, or money. Sometimes they are humility, compassion, and the reminder that every human being deserves respect. The vault that saved a company opened only once. But the hearts it changed remained open forever. And that is a wealth no amount of money can ever buy.